Let's move into details of another optical system which we call it prism. Now before going into details of it, let's understand a few fundamental definitions which are related with this optical system. In the beginning we have to understand what is prism, which optical system is referred as prism. In fact, a prism is any transparent medium bounded by any number of surfaces such that the surface on which ray incident and the surface from which ray emerges are plane and non-parallel. The other surfaces bounding the medium may be plane or curved. There is no specific restriction. They can have any geometry. Let me repeat it and look at each word very carefully. A prism is any transparent medium bounded by any number of surfaces such that the surface on which ray hits and the surface from where ray emerges are plane and non-parallel. Now, there is another word which we use in connection with prism is the prism angle. Sometimes we call it apex angle, prism angle. There are many names. Sometimes we call it refracting angle. The context will make it clear. So we use different names for prism angle. Now here this prism angle, which we will be denoting it by capital A, is the dihedral angle between the two surfaces facing incident ray and emergent ray. I repeat it. In the definition of prism, we have talked about two plane and non-parallel surfaces. Now these are the surfaces which faces incident ray and emergent ray. The angle between these two surfaces is simply the prism angle, which is also known as apex angle. One more term is there, and it is refracting edge. The intersection of these two surfaces on which rays falling, that is incidenting, and the surface from where rays emerging is called a refracting edge. There is one more word which we use, and it is the principal section. Now the principal section of prism is referred as section of plane perpendicular to refracting edge, is simply principal section. So let's revise the terms we have gone through. The very first is the definition of prism itself, which is the medium bounded by any number of surfaces such that the surface on which ray incidents and the surface from where ray emerges are plane and parallel. The angle between these two surfaces is referred as prism angle, which we are going to denote it by A, and the intersection of these two surfaces will be referred as refracting edge, and a plane perpendicular to refracting edge is simply called principal section. Now we can design different kinds of prism. Some of the designs are shown on the screen. Remember, the criteria is the surface on which ray hits and the surface from where the ray emerges should be plane and non-parallel, and there is no specific restriction on other bounding surfaces which can be of any geometry. So the figure shown on the screen gives you different kind of prism. Even a glass slab can be looked upon as prism if two adjacent sides are refracting surfaces. It is very clear that the angle between them is 90 degree. Now we are going to deal in detail with a triangular prism. Questions are mainly asked from this kind of prism, which is available in school laboratories and which we see very commonly and which we deal with in most of the situation. So let's understand what is this triangular prism all about. Now a triangular prism is basically a transparent solid and it has 5 faces. The figure is shown on the screen. Note that it has 5 faces. 2 faces are triangular and the 3 faces, they may be rectangular or square. So that is what is triangular prism. I repeat, it has 5 faces, 2 faces are triangular and 3 faces are rectangular or square. Now we take the principal section of this triangular prism. Now in this case, the ray which is going to hit the surface is square or rectangular, as I mentioned, and the surface from where it is going to emerge out is again square or rectangular. Definitely for triangular prism, the principal section will be a triangle. So let's consider certain geometrical consideration regarding triangular prism. The figure is clearly shown on the screen. Let's consider a ray falling on one surface and emerging out from other surface. The relevant angles are denoted. Angle of incidence, we are representing it by I. Angle of emergence, we are representing it by E. And angle of refraction at these 2 faces, we are representing it by R1 and R2. And as usual, angle of refraction we are denoting